I'm Sam.
And I'm Greg.
We're human beings, and we like movies.
We'll be doing reviews of brand new releases,
Old classics,
entire sagas,
and even TV shows and video games.
This is Reaction Time. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Reaction Time. It is 11:14 p.m.
Yep.
And Craig and I just got out of Avatar: The Way of Water.
Going on no energy right now.
No energy. We're both running on Skittles, Red Vines, and soda and popcorn.
A little bit of popcorn.
The first part of this show is going to be spoiler-free.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen the movie, feel free to listen to the first part of this, and we will give you a very clear warning when we're going to get into spoilers. Basically, what we're going to do is give you a quick spoiler-free overview of the movie, and we're going to rate every movie out of 1,000 because movies are worth more than 10 points.
They are.
So,
some not, but you know.
Yeah, some. That's true. Some are.
Man, if we scored something out of 10
some
out
will
of
get
1,000,
a 10 out of 1,000. So, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to the room. Okay. So, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yes.
By James Cameron. 3 hours and 10 minutes.
3 hours and 10 minutes. Somebody had to have a pee break in the middle of it.
That was me. And it was in the middle. It was like after the first third. And I almost left again, but I held out.
So, I liked the movie.
You liked it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it more than I didn't like it. So.
That's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
But did you love it?
The last hour, I loved it.
Same.
The first 2 hours, I liked it.
Yeah.
It definitely lagged in the middle.
It did. It was actually it was too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the first 5 or 10 minutes, it was like, here's all these new characters,
like
and
bang.
Yeah, it was like, here's all these characters, and this is what happened. All this stuff, and then it was like an hour and a half of like really slow, and like this is what all the animals are thinking, and then the last hour was awesome.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure James Cameron spent 13 years making this movie?
Yeah.
He wanted to show off his visuals.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you think this movie was just a CGI fest and nothing else?
Basically. This is probably hands down the most beautiful movie I've ever seen.
Visually.
And visually,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visuals, so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna break down our rating out of 1,000 into 5 categories, each worth 200 points, because we don't want to confuse anybody.
So ridiculous.
So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna give our score out of these 5 categories. We're gonna add them all up, and that's gonna be our score out of 1,000. The 5 categories are the visuals, which would be like cinematography, VFX, all that stuff. CGI.
Getting out the calculator.
I've got the calculator right here.
Gosh,
I'm so sorry.
okay.
I've prepped for this for weeks.
Yeah. I basically have done nothing this entire time.
Craig is the founder of this podcast. The second category will be the story. I don't know if we want to wrap in like the writing into that, or if you want to wrap that into maybe the acting. I don't know. But the next category is acting. Then there's the score. And then there's the vibe, which is just like how it's kind of a personal feeling about just the way you felt about the movie overall, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes movies suck and you just love them anyway.
Like The Room.
Like The Room. Or like Black Adam, which maybe we'll get to at a different time. But okay, Craig, visuals out of 200.
200.
You give it a 200?
Easy.
Easy 200?
Easy 200.
I'm going to give it a 192. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Was, with no spoilers, there was a scene with a water animal. And for a few seconds, I was getting very, very Finding Nemo vibes.
Really?
Yeah. And we can talk about it later, kind of what happened. But so I'm going to knock it down. I'm going to knock it down just a little bit and give it a 192. Visually, though, like...
So, because it had Finding Nemo vibes,
Not Finding
that-
Nemo vibes like the feeling of it, but just the way it looked less good than I wanted it to.
Okay.
Like less good than, because like during like when you had like close-ups on all the people in the movie, it was like flawless. You could not tell the difference between reality and the movie.
Okay, so maybe I don't know where this would go. My biggest issue I had was knowing who was who sometimes.
Yes.
Because they look so similar.
Yes, I had that issue
So,
as well.
I don't.
Mostly
they all
with-
look really good though, so I don't know if that would really be
Yeah, I
visuals.
guess I don't
but
want to
guess
talk
it
about that
could.
part, but
So
that's a little
maybe
spoilery,
I'll
but
bring
yeah.
it down to a 193.
Oh wow, you dropped it that far. Okay.
Towards the end, I actually didn't know who some people were.
Same. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Okay. The story. What would you give it?
Okay. So, it's not really spoilers, but it's kind of like a family story, right?
Yeah, right.
So, having a family and a
Yeah,
son
Craig
and a
has
daughter,
Children.
I have 2 children. I would say certain parts, they didn't really like super move me, but probably moved me more than other people. So
That makes sense. I was almost unmoved by the family aspect, which
yeah,
I don't have.
and I kind of
don't
was
have kids,
too.
but
So it's not really like, oh, I have kids. So any type of like family
Right.
thing, it's like, oh man, this is emotional.
yeah, I feel that because like I am often very moved by movies, which
Yeah.
I think is part of the reason why I'm doing this. I am an avid crier in a lot of movies, and a lot of like almost all of the family aspect of this movie did not really
Yeah.
move me. They just never. I don't think they ever got to the point where it was like,
There wasn't
Really
enough
moving.
good character development. They had good character development with one person, but not much happened with that person.
right,
So
yeah,
story, it's kind of your basic story. Maybe like a 110.
110.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm trying to think of like the story as a whole. The story as a whole was pretty basic. I think a big issue I had is there were a lot of side stories that I thought would
Maybe do something.
maybe do something or get resolved or like become a part of the plot, and
and then they didn't.
they didn't.
Yeah.
And that really bugs me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give this like a. I feel. I'm gonna give it like a 99.
It's not quite a 5 out of 10.
No, not quite. And it's not even that the story was bad, but it's just like there are a lot of like extremely good stories out in moviedom.
Yeah.
And this just wasn't one of those.
Yeah.
Right. Like it wasn't anything extra crazy.
Yeah. No.
So-
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Your basic general story.
Yeah, everyone probably sees it coming,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
expect anything.
There wasn't any like, oh my gosh, twist ending or
Yeah.
anything like that,
Yeah.
which is kind of probably what he was going for.
Yeah. Spoilers. No twist. There's a small twist. There's a small twist.
Anything can be classified as a twist ending. I just didn't see it as a twist ending because I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sports.
Okay.
Everyone dies. Just kidding.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Okay. Third category.
Acting. Okay, you go first on this one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna tell my thoughts first, and then I'll get a number because I feel like that helps
Okay.
to like say what I'm thinking.
Yes.
First of all, as per usual, Zoe Saldana gave the performance of a lifetime, even though I think she was severely underutilized in this.
Oh, 100%.
The sounds she makes as her character is like when you hear them immediately, like, oh, that's weird. And then you think about that it's a person doing that, and she doesn't sound like that in
Some
real
of her
life.
screams are so crazy.
It's that airy, like the where it's like too high and it's like airy. Oh, it's just like
It's like she's used all of her emotions to do that
she's
scream.
so good, and the fact that her acting comes out so much even through a CGI character is crazy.
Yeah, like they did really good on the facial effects.
Yeah.
You know.
And she's just like, oh, she's so good.
There was one part where two people had like an entire conversation just by like looking at each other.
Yeah.
And you knew like what they were saying to each other. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. She was great. The actor who plays Jake, whose name escapes me.
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington.
I even think he was a little underutilized too.
He gave, I would say, your average performance.
Yeah.
He's nobody who brings a ton of emotion, but I don't think he's supposed to.
No.
Right?
He's like Chris Pratt in the Mario movie. So
which we've all seen already. But yeah, I mean, I guess in the first Avatar, like he's a guy who doesn't really want to be there, and he's just like, whatever. And I feel like he has the same amount of emotion in this movie as he did in the last, maybe a little bit more, but he's not somebody who's gonna make you cry or laugh or feel anything extreme. He's just there as a story person.
Yeah.
So he is average. And then there was one character whose acting was so distractingly bad.
I
don't know if I want to. I'm not going to give any spoilers,
Okay.
I guess, because I don't know how much is spoilery. But so there's one person. Basically, there's one person who was great. There were a bunch of people who were average, and then there was one person who was horrible. So I'm going to give this a 100 because of Zoe Saldana. I'm going to give it a 110
Okay.
because she and people from some of the new characters did a really good job. I'm gonna give it a 120 because some of those guys were really, really good. I'm gonna give it 118 because I'm indecisively decisive.
Wow.
Okay, what'd you think?
You can't ever just have a round number. All of your numbers you're never gonna be able to have a round number.
That's true. I don't have anything. I'm gonna have one ending with a 0.
And like our 25th podcast.
Yeah, maybe not today, but at some point I'll have it.
I kind of agree with you. There were two people that really distracted me. They didn't say a whole ton, so it wasn't like the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, every time they like spoke, I was like, oh gosh, this is just not, it's so distracting.
Yeah.
So I would, I'd give it like a 105.
105.
Yeah.
Nice and even.
Yeah.
Well, it's technically odd.
Yeah.
Mine was more.
Wow. Did you go to school?
Once.
Okay.
Once ever.
That's good.
But yeah, I think the acting was about what it.
Yeah.
I think what it
was nothing
needed
extraordinary.
to be because of the writing.
Yeah.
Like if the writing had been a crazier story or was written to show more emotion, then I think it would have been slightly like a letdown. But because of the way the story was written, I think everything was fine. So
Yeah.
Okay. Next category, the score.
The score.
What'd you think about the score?
So I thought the score was good.
Yeah.
But kind of like, I don't know, kind of like the story and the acting, nothing stuck with me. The only thing that stuck with me is when they played the first Avatar music when something sad happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that music was good, you know? And then the rest of it was like, oh yeah, you're just your typical movie music.
It wasn't any John Williams.
No,
it wasn't
or even Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
I don't even know who did the score.
I don't know either. But
if it was
we can
Hans
find
Zimmer,
out.
he's failing at life right now.
If it was him, I'm going to be severely disappointed.
Yeah, me
But,
too.
Yeah,
He's got to be, doing the Oppenheimer. Is that what it's called?
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer?
I think it's Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Who did the score? Let's see. Simon Franklin. Simon, you're average.
Yeah, you're fine.
Hopefully you find your way in this industry. I'm sure not everybody's scores are bangers every single time.
So, I mean, the score was good. I can give it like a 121.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a number. It's hard because there are so many scores that are so good. And I almost think a score being just average or normal is bad. Because I think of some movies like I'm gonna try in this podcast not to talk about Star Wars too much, but like
It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna
every
talk about
episode.
Star Wars every single episode.
Every episode.
Here's the thing: Star Wars is not known for good dialogue,
No.
but the music more than makes up for that. Like when you're watching a Star Wars movie, if they said nothing, the music would do so much, and it's like the entire movie. Every time that there's music, it's phenomenal. Like no matter what. And the Avatar didn't do that. It did it kind of that one time where they kind of played that old score, and it's just like I didn't feel the music really taking away from many moments. There were a couple where I was like, the music should be better here, and it was almost distracting, but it definitely didn't in any other time like really lift the moment, which was kind of like, I think what's the opposite of enhanced?
Dehanced.
It dehanced some. It's definitely dehanced. You're totally right.
If that's a word.
It definitely dehanced
I didn't
some
know it
moments
was.
for me. I'm gonna give it an 80.
So if you think about it, because I was like about to score it, 100 is literally like a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
So like average for me would be, if you're average, you're usually like around a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
Which would be like 150 out of 200, right?
Yeah.
So this movie was definitely all about the visuals.
For sure.
And that was kind of like the first one though.
Yeah.
And I had fun. You
Oh
know?
yeah, for sure.
You know,
I don't think this is a movie that's supposed to be about much else.
No,
honestly,
it's just to look really cool.
and that's okay because I think it's pretty aware of that.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It'd be different if it was like a CGI fest, and then it also tried to do too much in other categories. Well, not like too much, not enough because
I mean,
it could have done better in
it
other
could have done
categories.
better.
But I think James Cameron and people working on this movie just knew like, hey, we're making this movie because people are excited to see the CGI, right? And all of the water stuff was just a huge CGI flex.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
Which
It all looks so
props
good,
because
though.
it's amazing.
My gosh,
it looks
was
so good.
So good.
Quick disclaimer: we did not go see this in 3D,
No,
which
I have heard is really good.
I just didn't think about 3D because
Nobody
the
does
last
3D
3D
anymore.
movie I saw was probably
It was
Avatar,
Avatar,
and the one
yeah.
before that obviously was Spy Kids 3D because who didn't?
That's like one of the best movies ever made.
It's the best
Yeah.
movie ever made. Yeah,
It gets a 999 out of 1,000.
it gets a 999 out of 10. What are you on? Jeez. Okay, so
Hashtag not sponsored.
yeah. Spy Kids, if you want to sponsor us, get Antonio on the phone.
I think
Okay.
he's doing Puss in Boots right now, so he's a little busy.
Oh, he is. The 8th Puss in Boots movie.
I know.
Okay. Last category is the vibe.
Okay.
So this is basically all else aside. How did you like it? Did you enjoy the movie, or like how did you feel about it?
So I think I'd give it like a 180 out of 200.
Really?
It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie to see. It was cool. We saw it in IMAX, so my goodness, some of the sounds just about blew your ears out. But
Yeah.
which
Which I enjoy.
it's kind of like probably your case for Black Adam, where it's just a fun movie.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it was just a fun movie. You know?
It's not like a life-changing. Well, I don't know.
I don't
because
know.
Visually,
it is 100%.
It
It's
is.
like super life changing.
Yeah.
They're just because obviously they're all like painted blue, right? I mean, I don't think there's a ton of like. I don't know. I don't think there's a ton of special effects on them other than like their little glowing dots and stuff. But
I think they're completely CGI.
are they? Because like there was some times where it would like zoom in on them, and I felt like I could like see the skin coming out of the blue.
No, I know.
Are they totally?
I think
CGI?
they're
Oh my
completely CGI.
gosh. Just them riding on like in the air and flying.
Oh,
It is insane.
It's insane.
Like because you think of Harry Potter and when he gets on the dragon and it's like not good looking. You know?
It's like the most basic CGI dummy that they could have thrown. Yeah,
which that's majority of movies though. I mean,
Right.
even Lord of the Rings with the
troll.
I just literally watched this. The people flying on the dragons. It's hard to do that though. You can't really
Oh yeah.
You can't really fake that. And so, man, if all of them are CGI'd, I am like shocked because there was some parts where I literally like it looked like their skin color was coming through on the blue.
We'll research and report, but I'm
they
almost
probably
positive
are.
they're completely CGI.
So freaking insane.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah, when we say the visuals are great on this, we're not joking at all.
He spent that 13 years for the technology.
He spent that $10 billion on that movie, and
it wasn't
all
on anything else.
The CGI.
He hired whatever score he could get, and he wrote a basic story.
And he found one middle school wrestler kid and put him as a main character. Okay.
Yes, I'm glad that he distracted. It was so bad.
Okay, so for me, the vibe. Here's the thing: some of the action was so fun.
Oh,
because I love Avatar because of the scale, right? Like I feel like a lot of projects, especially recently, have felt like not Avatar projects, obviously, but like just movies and shows in general have felt really small. That might be in part to the use of, the volume is the stagecraft that they use, like on The Mandalorian. A lot of things have been using that, like the Batman used it. A lot of, I think some Marvel projects are using it. It's just like stuff has felt a little claustrophobic. In Avatar, like this just felt huge. And I love the scale of like their ships and the people are bigger and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So like when people get shot with those arrows, you like feel it.
Oh no,
and
it was nuts.
Amazing.
Well, just think of like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Boo.
Yeah. No spoilers here, for a movie that's super old, but it was called Multiverse of Madness and they visited like 2 places.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and it was not madness.
And they had one shot where it was like going through like 20 universes and it was so cool. But
and
it was
they
like
landed in the universe exactly
long.
like theirs.
Yeah. So that's the scope I think you're talking about, where Avatar was like, look, James Cameron's like, I'm doing this and I'm taking as long as I need to make this look so freaking good.
Yeah.
And I never felt like he was like, I don't have the time to do this. It was like, no, we're going to perfect this.
He put the care into it that people should put into their projects, which has been a huge issue with like stuff that I like, Marvel and Star Wars and stuff. Just like the recent projects have not felt like they've had care put into them.
Yeah.
And he just did. I mean, I think on the first Avatar movie, if this might be a rumor, I don't know if this is real or not, but as far as I know, he had that idea before he did Titanic.
Really?
So it was like 20 years in the making, but he didn't do it because the CGI wasn't where he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I feel like that's putting care into your project because he could have done it, right? He could have painted people and sent them out there.
It was even Avatar 2. The reason why it took 13 years was because they literally developed the technology to do it underwater.
Yeah.
So, he probably had that idea for 30 years and, was like, oh, I'm not ready to make it yet because I can't make it look good.
Yeah. So
your score for Vibe?
I'm going to give this a 170.
Okay.
Because the first
your first
2/3
round number, by the way.
No, that's my second. I gave it an 80 on the score.
Oh man,
it's a low round number, but it is.
Dang.
The first 2/3 were pretty slow, but there was some stuff visually that I really loved. But the last third, I loved like a lot.
Insane.
So obviously, this isn't really a spoiler. Final battle stuff, right? Every movie like this has a final battle.
Yeah.
Final battle's great.
Yeah.
So I'm giving that a 170. Are you ready to add up our scores?
Yeah, let's see
out
this.
of 1,000. What's your guess? Don't do the math, just guess.
I'm not doing the math. What's it out of again? 1,000?
1,000.
I'm gonna go with like 650 to 700.
That's a really good guess. You gave it to 709.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm gonna guess mine's probably lower than your. I think
it was lower than
Mine's gonna be like a 615-ish.
Yeah.
At the most, honestly. Let's see. I give it a low score. I might be in the 5s.
No.
659.
Dang. So
50 less.
So think about that.
That's a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Do you feel that was a 6.5 out of 10?
That's what's interesting is like this is more of a scoring system and less of like because I think if you gave it whatever out of 10, that's more just the vibe category.
True.
I think, right?
True.
Because that's just how you felt about it. This is like an actual kind of breakdown.
Yeah.
So
because we can be like, oh, look, the visuals and the vibes we're super high
Because
on
like
our scores.
if somebody asked you out of 10 what you would give it, what would you give it?
I give it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd give it like an 8 or like an 8.2.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's worth it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Man, that's kind of crazy.
I
If
know.
you break it out, it's much lower than I thought.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. Because there are things that are just kind of
Yeah.
kind of distracting or things that pull away a little bit more maybe than you realize.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it's all about kind of the way you feel about the movie. So
Yeah.
that's what's important. Okay. Do you recommend this movie to people? And
Yeah.
if so, who do you recommend it to?
I definitely recommend it. Anybody that watched the first one and really enjoyed it. Anybody that is looking for a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
You don't need to think about it. You don't need to have this emotional weight or anything. You're just like, man, I want to go see a good movie. Definitely this one. And I would say for the visuals alone, definitely need to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. Is there anyone you would not recommend it to?
I don't know.
I would say if there's anybody who like can't stand long movies,
Yeah,
you might want to.
yeah, that's
You
true.
might want to wait. If you're not like a huge Avatar fan, basically what I would say is if you're not a huge Avatar fan, or how do I say this? And also if you really don't care too much about like being blown away visually,
Yeah.
and you don't like long movies, then this might not be like, this isn't like want to go see a movie. Like I don't care about movies that much, but let's go see Avatar. Like that, it might not be the one. But if you have even a slight chance that you'd be blown away by visuals, either way you go see
Here's
it.
what I'd say. If you don't want to see a 3-hour movie, buy your ticket and go in an hour and a half late, and you'll probably be totally fine.
That's actually
like seriously.
That's actually
you'll
not
miss some
false.
things, but
You'll know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
ask the person next to you
Yeah.
to fill you in.
just like, who are
it's
these
quick.
people? And they'll be like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been here for an hour and a half, and I
that's
don't even
fair.
know who they are.
Okay, we're gonna get into box office predictions, and then we're gonna end the spoiler free. Which I hope we didn't spoil anything so far. We've talked a lot more than I thought we would.
Well,
but I think
look,
we're fine.
yeah,
right now.
This is, to me, doing a spoiler free thing. What I'll usually talk about is only things you've already seen in a trailer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because if we go to like 0 spoilers, it's basically here's our rating, and that's not really good enough for somebody to determine if they want to see
Yeah.
it, I guess.
That's
So,
fair. Okay, box office predictions.
Okay.
For the record, right now we are December 15th, 2023. We've got 51 movies
2022.
in the Billy Club. What did I say?
You said 2023.
Shoot, I'm already ready. I'm ready to go. November 15th, 2022.
It's December.
Frick, man, I can't do this. December 15th, 2022.
15th, 2021.
As of right now, there are 51 movies in the $1 billion club. The top being the
insane,
first Avatar,
obviously.
at $2.92 billion,
And then Endgame.
and then Endgame, and then Titanic,
Like
and then
2.79.
Endgame's at 279, and Titanic's at 22.
For the record, I did not look at the computer to get
Yeah,
that number.
Craig is-
I'm just a
he
little
just
bit weird
knows.
with box office numbers.
And then the last movie in the $1 billion club is Jurassic World Dominion, the third one, which baffles me, but
Yeah, I never
that's
saw
at
it.
like $1 billion exactly. So, rumor has it, or real life has it, that James Cameron said that this movie has to be top 5 to even make its money back.
yes, to break even.
So it's got to be top 5 is the 5th highest grossing movie is Infinity War at $2.048 billion dollars. What's your prediction on box office?
This movie is so hard because, like Endgame, I easily could have told you it's probably going to be one of the biggest movies ever
yeah.
because there was so much hype. It was coming out a year after Infinity War. This is 13 years after the first Avatar.
Yeah.
And
Which do you think that helps with hype, or do you think that hurts hype? Because I can see it go both ways.
I think it hurts. Oh, I don't know. I think it hurts more than it helps, only because when everybody got off of the high of the visuals in the 3D and they just started watching Avatar again, and they were like, okay, it's kind of a generic movie that might have like eventually they just kind of kept, because I mean, most people have probably watched this movie quite a few times now because
Yeah.
it'll come on and you're like, oh yeah, I love Avatar.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch, So I kind of almost think that it's hurt rather than I think you'll have a lot of people, the hardcore fans that really want to see Avatar 2 because they love the first one. They're going to go see it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have a huge weekend.
It'll,
But I don't know if it's going to last because the
the
first
thing,
Avatar,
yeah.
the reason why it made so much money was its first weekend was actually pretty low because nobody knew what
They
it
didn't know what it
was.
was.
And then
Yeah.
it was the next week and the next week and the next week that were just like these killer weeks.
it's all about that. You have to go see this movie stuff. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's going to happen again.
That's what I'm wondering about.
Oh, this is hard. I don't know. I think it's going to do really well,
Right.
but is it top 5 well?
Yeah. Is it $2 billion good?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go crazy here.
Okay, what do you got?
Okay, I'm going to guess, oh my gosh, 2.3 million.
Real
Yeah.
2.3 million or billion?
Billion, sorry, not million. It's going to
Dude,
get
James
200,000.
Cameron, poor guy. $2.3 billion.
And my
That's
reasoning
high.
why, okay, you say your number and I'm going to say my reason why I think it's high. Because I don't want to give you any reason to get higher.
My number,
Because I want to be
this
right.
is not what I want it to make. This is just what I think it's going to
Yeah.
make. I do not see it surpassing like 1.4.
Ooh. Okay. So is that your number?
That's my number.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 1 because winner gets a prize.
Winner, chicken dinner.
I'm gonna go 145.
Ooh.
So we're going 1,450,000,000.
So the reason why I think it's going to do better is because of China.
Is it releasing in China?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, not every movie is releasing in China.
Oh well, no, this one definitely is releasing in China. And China is like your reasoning.
That's a huge.
Yeah,
That's
China is
true.
your reasoning for if your box office
'Cause-
does super well or not.
That's true, but I think Spider-Man: No Way Home never released in China.
It did. It was late.
It was okay. It was
yeah,
late. Okay,
but it did, and that's why it got like a second wind.
okay, that's fair then.
So that's my reasoning why. I think
Okay.
it's going to do like freaking $1 billion in China
Dude,
because they love just good-looking
maybe.
movies. They just love those movies.
Yeah,
I'm not like trying to stereotype or anything, but they just
no, they do.
they sell
Yeah.
they all of their movies are these really cool-looking, awesome, action-packed movies, and
That's fair.
yeah,
That's fair. Yeah. I just the reason I think I didn't think about China. Dang, you should have told me that. earlier. No, but that's fair.
be right.
That's fair. Here's the thing. The reason I think it's not going to do as good, and maybe it'll do better because of China, but I think a lot of box office, like with the really high movies, is a rewatchability factor. Like how many times did people go see Endgame or Infinity War, right? People were going 2, 3, 4 times. Like an average person would see that movie twice.
yeah.
Avatar, I think because of the length and because it's like visually stunning, but it's like,
Endgame was 3 hours.
I know, but it
This is only
wasn't
3
a
hours
slow,
and 10
it
minutes.
wasn't really a slow 3 hours.
That's true.
and Endgame had the
Had the 10 years
it had
of
the 10-year
Marvel.
hype of like
This has 13 years.
yeah, it's that's true, but like there's no universe,
Yeah, no,
right?
there's not.
So there's not really a build up,
Yeah.
right? There's a time amount. So I think there's just like not as many people connected to it. So I don't know if people are going to see this a lot more than 2 times.
Especially with Infinity War and its ending. Like,
Yeah.
You had to go see Endgame.
Yeah, it was a must see event, and
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a must see event. I feel like it's more of like a exciting movie of the year thing, but not like because Endgame, like Infinity War and Endgame as like a pair are like a generational defining
Oh, yeah.
pair of movies.
Yeah.
which Avatar I don't think is going to be defining for this era of movies.
I would say the only reason
visually.
why I think it might do better is there just hasn't been a lot of good movies this year.
that's
So people might be waiting.
I thought
Top
that too,
Gun Maverick,
but Top
right?
Gun. Well, I guess it's just
Other than
kind of
that,
Top Gun.
that's basically
and-
it.
In Black Adam.
Yeah,
Excuse
but that
me.
didn't do that
Just
well,
kidding.
though.
No, it didn't. It didn't do very
I mean,
good.
it did do well, but like not. Oh, there was Morbius. So 2022 was
dude.
definitely the best year.
Everyone was morbing up for weeks.
It was so good they re-released it.
Yeah, they almost really released it again.
Oh my gosh. Come on,
they didn't.
Sony.
Actually, I think they might have considered it. For sure.
I'm sure they consider doing it again.
Do you have any last spoiler-free thoughts before we move on to the spoiler section of this?
No.
Okay.
Again, fun movie. I would definitely recommend it in theaters. And honestly, I think you get your money's worth,
I think so.
especially in the last hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And we didn't see it in 3D, but I'd probably suggest going to see it in 3D.
Yeah, because I've heard people have seen it and they were like,
Yeah.
it's just as good as the first Avatar.
Yeah.
And that's really been the only good 3D movie other than Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah,
But
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, no, I think the same. I think definitely go see it. I do recommend this to like kind of everyone, but I think based on almost like a FOMO factor, like you have to watch this in theaters because like
Yeah.
obviously they'll re-release it like 12 times
Yeah.
again in the future.
Yeah.
But I think just like right now, it's like just go do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I
So
think
maybe
it's
I'll hit
super
my
worth it.
2.3 in like 10 years when they've re-released it
Dude,
14
maybe
times.
that's what they did with it last time. I think it was like
because Endgame was number
it
one.
made $200 million extra to surpass it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all are crazy for going back.
Yeah. Come on, let's bring Endgame back to number one.
Yes, re-release Endgame.
Re-release
And
Endgame.
Morbius. Okay, that's going to conclude our spoiler-free section of this episode. So if you have not seen the movie and are wary of spoilers, go ahead and turn this off.
Yep.
Go see the movie.
We'll miss you.
And then come back.
Yes, come
and
back.
fast forward to more or less
Timestamp.
37 minutes into the show.
Wow.
Or 30 minutes. Well, yeah, 37 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah, we've been going.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into the spoiler section of
Yeah.
this now. This stupid kid, man, he was so bad.
Man, we're right into this.
We're right into this.
Spoilers, we're going.
Yeah, we're going.
Stop now.
I'll give a good spoiler warning. I'll like make.
Oh, just make like a massive like.
Oh, it'll be a siren. Yeah, we're gonna have everything.
Just do that. Just
everything.
record me going wee 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 little.
The kid,
When
man.
Patrick showed up, oh my god.
Okay,
Spider.
the kid, dude. His
was-
acting was really bad.
It was bad, and why did they need him?
He was completely unnecessary to the story, and I actually think he
Other
hurt
than-
the story at the end.
Yeah, he did. That's the only point of him. Is now there's a reason to have a third one.
That's
I mean,
it,
we already
but
knew there was gonna be,
You
like,
could have saved
12.
the guy in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Right. It's just
Here's-
his character bugged me and his acting bugged me. So
Oh,
it was,
yeah.
it was a double win.
Yeah, his like little things was just like
Yeah.
so annoying.
Yeah.
I just didn't see the point of him at all. He was distracting. He was annoying. Don't know what he did to the plot, really. My annoying thing for me was the general guy, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I
the
don't know
Colonel,
either.
whatever.
Colonel Man.
Colonel
Colonel Sanders. We'll call him Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
As a
When he was
placeholder.
eating his KFC, just kidding. Is when he goes and invades this place to try and find Jake, right? Because that's
Right.
basically the entire thing.
Right.
He burns their entire homes for no reason. He
Yeah.
murders whatever those things are. And then all of a sudden, he has a heart to save his somewhat son.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
He flip flops so
He
much,
was
and there's
literally
no.
just, let's murder everything so that I can find Jake. And then
Yeah.
like,
Well, and the kid, he flip flops so much, and the kid flip flops so
Yeah.
much, and it's just like, why? Be something or be
something.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because
he's like helping
Yeah.
him out, and then he wasn't helping him out, and then he was helping him out, and then he wasn't
Yeah.
helping him out. I don't know.
Yeah, it was so weird. And it was like when they were kind of torturing him to try to get information, and then the colonel steps up, or is he captain?
I don't know.
Whatever. We'll call him Colonel
We'll call him
Sanders.
Colonel.
When he steps up, he's like, let me try to take a more personal approach.
Yeah.
And then he goes in, he's like, I'm your dad. And the kid's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was the whole scene.
No, I know. He's like, let me add a personal touch, and he was like,
Oh, he's like, I'm your
just
dad.
roll with it or something like.
Yeah, he's like, I'm your dad, but I'm not your dad. And the kid was like, I feel so emotionally bonded to you right now.
I know, right?
That was dumb.
It was so dumb.
That was dumb. But I
and
don't
where
want
was his kid in the first one?
Yeah.
Like-
Maybe we'll go back and we'll totally see it. But
It's just a
where
spider
the
that's
kid,
crawling
there's
around.
like a 6-minute portion of the movie where it's just the kid introducing himself and everyone forgot about it.
It was so unforgettable. So the other distracting thing was Sigourney Weaver voicing a teenager. Every time she talked, it bugged me.
Okay,
she just talked weirdly. First off, and then
I think she talked normal, and then they probably de-aged her voice.
no, it wasn't even that. The way she talked, like she, it was almost like she wasn't trying to say too much because it would sound distracting.
That makes sense.
Just like every time she talked was like these one word things, and it seemed weird. I don't know. And then when she was like talking to herself in that one flashback, and I don't know. It was cool to have her back. I love Sigourney Weaver, but it was just.
I think
why couldn't it have been somebody else?
Another thing with her character that bugged me a lot is like I really thought they were gonna go deeper into her, like her connection with the mother, or whatever.
Yeah,
AWOL.
AWOL.
It really
AWOL went AWOL.
AWOL. It really felt like they were gonna drop this big bomb on you.
Yeah.
Of like she's like the chosen one, or she's whatever.
Yeah.
They kept touching on who her father was. Never touched.
And that's just gone. I'm assuming maybe.
I mean, they set up a sequel, so
I'm assuming at some point maybe.
I kind of hope they
Avatar
drop it,
5.
but she felt very. She felt very Anakin Skywalker-y, where it's like, here's the chosen one. We don't know who the father is, yada, yada, yada. But then they never resolved it. Like, she never turned into Darth Vader, and it was...
I'm pretty sure she said at one point that sand was rough and it gets everywhere.
It does, and it's coarse.
Coarse, that's what it is.
It's not smooth like Natalie Portman's back. That's for sure. She's my first love. I have to talk about her like that. Well, because he said it's not. I hear everything's smooth, and then he touches her back.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a deep.
I kind of forgot that she was in that movie.
It's a deep scene. I'm gonna go into that with you later when we watch Attack of the Clones. Second best movie ever. Just kidding.
Oh, gosh. Everyone, you lose all your credibility by saying that. By the way,
I know everyone's gonna hate me. I don't actually think it's the second best movie ever, but
good.
I do love the movie.
The Room.
But that's just me.
The Room's definitely the second best movie and first.
Okay, so those were some things that bugged me. And it was really slow.
Yeah.
And the last thing that bugged me was when they were with the whales.
Okay.
It doesn't bug me as much. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, the connection with all the stuff is like weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, but then I think about it, I was like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's newish, right?
Yeah.
And so it
a
works.
Little weird.
It's weird, but it works for me until the whales are like, moo, and it's like, thank you. How's your baby?
I know, right? Yeah, like
the
it was so weird.
That was bad.
That's probably really loud.
That's okay. It was just like that to me was pretty bad.
Yeah, no.
Like, how's the wife and kids? I'm a whale.
Right? Like, I understand that everything's alive, and you know that's why when one of them dies, they get all upset about it and everything.
Yeah.
But that's where they were able to talk to it with hand gestures and then understand what it was saying by its like noises.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
You know, it just got a little
that was
weird.
And I think the same thing happened with the kid who bonded with the outcast whale.
Yeah, whatever his name was.
The first thing he basically says is
no idea
like,
what it is.
he's like, I can't understand you.
Yeah.
And then two seconds later,
he knows everything.
He's like, tell me about your life. And the whale's like,
where did he learn it from?
He's like, yeah, bro, I know, right? So it's just like,
let's get down and hang, dog.
it was that, and it was, yeah. So that bugged me. And another thing, the new clan, they just know English, I guess.
I guess.
Even though no humans had ever been over there or whatever.
Sure.
Maybe they had. Maybe I missed something.
Who knows?
But in the first one, they explained that the Sky people came into the clan and like tried to integrate and taught them English and stuff.
Yeah, Jake Sully taught like most of them English.
Yeah,
and everything.
but then in this one, it's just like this is uncharted territory. It's just a bunch of islands out in the middle of nowhere, and then they're like, they just know English, and they all talk to each other in English the whole time. It's just like continuity.
It was like how Megatron knew English in Transformers.
Megatron knows everything. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, but he was frozen in ice the entire time. So how did he learn English? They all learned English from the World Wide Web. They say that in the first one, but Megatron was frozen. So where did he learn it? Side note. Sorry.
Touche. That spoilers.
Wait,
okay,
is
that's
that
her.
a spoiler?
That's her. Okay.
Megatron dies.
Is there anything else that really bugged you before we get into things that we actually liked about the movie? Because we didn't hate it.
So the thing that bugged me was they gave so much attention to the younger brother with the whale and all that other kind of stuff. You really didn't see a ton of the older brother.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think it hit hard. Like
Yeah.
when he died. I guess we're in spoiler territory.
Yeah, we're in
so it's
spoilers.
like,
You can say it.
When he died, it was like I guess I think I would have felt more if it had been the younger brother because we spent so much time with him.
Yeah.
I still don't think it was like that great of character development. I still probably wouldn't have been like, oh my gosh, you know.
because they didn't establish the family dynamic very well at the
No.
beginning. That was the issue, right?
No,
Because like at the beginning they were all there and you could tell Jake was kind of a jerk to it. Not a jerk, but just like a really hard-nosed dad. Like,
Yeah. Your
he was just-
typical TV movie dad.
Yeah, like call me sir and like
Yeah.
all this stuff.
I
And
have
it's
to
just
protect
like,
my family.
there was never a point where they really established because like the younger brother felt like the older brother was the more loved one and all this stuff. And Jake made it seem that way too. But like you never really figured out why or
Right.
anything like that. It wasn't like the movie where it's like, oh, he's my favorite son and he died and now I'm drinking and I hate my younger son. It wasn't
Yeah,
any
and I'm
of
gonna
that.
send him off while this, Hobbit sings this beautiful song and I eat
Yeah.
cherry tomatoes and stuff.
I
Yeah.
love cherry tomatoes. No, I hate them. They're gross. But yeah, so they just didn't establish that dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's why it never hit throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
And did they just adopt Sigourney Weaver, baby?
I guess so.
Because they were like, we have 4 kids. And then halfway through the movie, I was like, oh,
But
they're counting her as
she
the
had
daughter.
4 fingers, didn't she?
She had 5 total.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I swear she had, because one of them had 4. I swear one of them had 4. And I was like, how do
It's
they
probably
have the youngest one?
Nikiri. Really?
One of them had 4. I promise you on my life. And I was like distracted by it because I thought they were all demon blood babies.
Oh, weird. I'll pay attention to that.
Maybe not.
next
I don't
time
know.
watch
Yeah.
this.
When next time you watch it,
I'm watching it on Christmas Eve. So.
Okay. Yeah, let me know. I swear
Yeah.
one of them had 4 fingers, and I was like,
Oh, weird. I'll check
wait.
on that. So yeah, those were some issues.
And then the other thing that I didn't like was the very end when Jake's like a son for a son and they adopt the spider kid. It just felt like your son just died
and you're replacing him
and
with
you're
this
just replacing him with
white
this
boy.
annoying person. Like
Dude. Yeah.
Again, and that's what I was kind of saying before was when I was talking in the beginning where like, I have a son and daughter. So there was this time, side story, where my kid was sick. It was my son. And he had woken up in the middle of the night and I went in his room and he was totally fine, but he was like really sick. So his like crying sounded really weird and his breathing was like off. He just probably had the flu or a cold or something. And I like super panicked. Like, and I hadn't like ever done that before. And I like super panicked. I go in, I'm like telling my wife, I'm like, there's something wrong. And she goes in, she's like, he's okay. He just sounds off because he's sick. So like, since that moment, I've like realized, okay, goodness, if my kids were to die, I would like lose myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, okay, yeah, it was only emotional just because I was thinking about my own kid.
Yeah.
It was not worth the emotion. They didn't. That wasn't the right. They didn't do it well.
Yeah.
It doesn't deserve the emotion. That's what the word I was going for. It doesn't deserve the emotion because it just happened.
Right. They didn't build to it enough.
And you didn't have any character
And
development.
then Jake did not care.
He was just like, hey, we got to go kill Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. And he's like, I'll just grab this white kid and we'll just replace him like immediately. Here's the only thing really that even came close to selling that death for me, not selling it, but yeah, like kind of selling it
Was Zoe screams?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they were crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And it's so over the top that it's jarring, right?
Yeah.
When she has like reactions like that. In the first movie, the same thing happened where it's like first
when the tree and everything gets destroyed.
Yeah, first I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
and then I'm
really
like,
weird.
this feels like real because like in real life, if somebody were doing that, it probably would feel a little weird initially, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like inhuman screams that are coming out and stuff, but it's like, it feels real. So she's great, dude. Props to her. No matter what color she is, she does great. So dude, I'm waiting for her to be like purple or something else because she kills it in her colorful movies.
The colorful movies.
Yeah. But
Guardians of the Galaxy 3,
dude,
when she's purple.
that would be
It's
crazy.
gonna change
Can you
color for no
imagine?
reason.
Okay, what'd you like about this movie? Besides that guy getting his arm chopped off by a
that
cable.
was amazing. That was so. And
it was dope.
It's like it was so out of the blue. I knew it was going to happen because the
Yeah.
rope had tied around his arm, and I'm like, but I didn't think they were going to show it. 'Cause
I
they haven't
know.
really like delved into that kind of more.
A little, it's like slight gore, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like dismemberment, but
Yeah.
not like anything gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because, it's not like a war movie. You just expect limbs or
Right.
like, Star Wars where a limb falls off
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
except for the last movie.
Don't even get me started.
Don't even get there. But it was cool. And I would say I like that a lot, actually. They didn't go away from a lot of the violence.
Yeah.
Not like it was like violent. I mean, but there was some I
Yeah.
mean, when they get shot and stuff with like arrows, like
That's like
crazy.
my favorite part of both movies. When the giant arrows go through the helicopter windshields and pierce the people, and the sound
sound.
also sells it like
Yeah.
so much because it's such like a heavy thud.
Yeah.
and it just feels right. Like you can almost feel it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Can we
I
talk
think it's
about
great.
how arrows go through a helicopter glass, though?
Can we talk about how they've been at this for, like, in the span of what has happened, probably 2 decades, and they haven't arrow-proofed their
I know,
windshields
I
yet?
know.
Are you kidding me?
And okay, the other thing that bothered me in the first one was when Sam Worthington's in a wheelchair. Why is he in a wheelchair with all the technology that they have?
He says
And then-
because he can't afford it.
What do you do? You can't afford it. What are you talking about? I can't imagine it's that expensive.
It was a little play on of what our world is like today with vets not being taken care of.
Okay.
But yeah, I
But
get
yeah,
it.
they can't do that though because they say, "Oh, our vets aren't taken care of," and then they just make them like these horrible people. Like,
Yeah, no, that's true.
Who in the right? What colonel just goes into this stranger's place and is looking for one guy and just murders like an animal and burns all their houses down? They know they're not there.
Yeah, that's
so what
true.
is burning
Those
the houses
vets
down?
don't deserve
They're horrible
insurance.
people. They're horrible people. They're all about, oh, I'm getting $80 million from this brain chemical or whatever
Yeah.
the crap they
Gross.
injected from that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I'm sorry, that's not allowed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Also, why did all of the equipment were ocean animals? Or just animals in general? Like the spiders
Yeah,
that built all the
crabs.
stuff, and then the crabs.
spiders.
And then even the submarines were like fish.
I thought they were cool.
They're cool. No, it's cool. Like,
I think it's just because.
okay.
Because like,
What
here's
does being a
this is
crab
why.
robot
This
have
is
to do
why.
with you?
No, this is why. Because what if they were just normal submarines?
Yeah,
It's just
I
less
guess that's
fun,
true.
right? Because
Yeah.
this is just supposed
I mean,
to be
it was fun to see
The crab
them-
robots,
the
I
crab
think, were
robots
dope,
climbing
right?
around, yeah.
That made a little bit of sense because it needed to crawl up on top of the whale, but it needed to climb it.
Sure. I mean,
Right.
you can't do that as a, spider or anything else.
Spiders aren't sea animals.
No.
Bruh. Okay.
They got to be sea animals. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's just for fun.
It was
But
fun.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you like?
I really liked the final battle, the more like fist fight. I also thought it was super anticlimactic too, just because it's like this really cool battle of them like hitting each other and everything, and then all of a sudden he gets them in a chokehold. And then
Yeah.
that's the other. Can
He
we
for
talk
sure
about
should have
that?
killed him.
Well, no. Can we talk about that? They all like drowned, and then none of them ever died from it.
They didn't even have symptoms of drowning. Like, I don't know
Like
how.
they didn't even come up like coughing water. They
which
just
I
like,
don't know how
they
accurate
just,
that
like,
is, but
it's not accurate. If you breathe,
Yeah.
if you suck in a bunch
I
of
guess you'd
water,
have a
you're
ton.
gonna die.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless you're like saved pretty instantly and you cough up that water.
It was a little, pun
I mean, I'm
intended,
not-
it was a little wishy-washy how like, I just felt like people in production, they never really decided how long these people could hold their breath for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I understand that, like, I think throughout the movie, the kids were doing a lot more underwater stuff than the parents were.
Right, but why didn't the parents learn it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out because
Yeah.
they like wanted to become one of the people, and then they
Yeah.
were just what are they just chilling in their tent?
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, he got the freaking monster in 2 tries. But
Yeah.
he couldn't hold his breath.
Yeah, so there were some inconsistencies there.
Yeah.
So-
Because that's how I thought it was going to go down. I thought it was going to be the Colonel trying to hold his breath versus Jake.
Yeah.
And he was going to hold his breath longer. Almost like an Iron Man where
Yes.
the first one where they see who can go higher, right?
Yeah.
And then it freezes. Like that was such a cool, iconic
Yeah.
moment. So I thought it was going to be like both of them basically just looking at each other like, dude, I can
Yeah,
hold my breath
I was
longer than you
really-
because I'm cool.
I was really waiting for him to have him in the chokehold and then hear the crack of the neck. I was really waiting for that.
Yeah.
Get a little. I know you don't like this movie, but get a little bit of the Man of Steel. No spoilers, but there's a little neck crack in there, which I love. And we don't have to talk about that movie.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for a death.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that. And
Well,
I
that's
know
because
it's
they
to
need
set up
him
a
for the
sequel,
third one.
But like, why not just have a different villain in the third one?
No, they can't. For
You
some
don't
reason,
have to
he
have the
has to
same guy
live.
every single
No,
movie.
they do.
Anyway, whatever. Okay.
For some reason, because he has such character development that I'm invested in this Colonel Marine that I don't even know his name.
Colonel Marine is correct. That's his name. Colonel Sander Marine.
So that's, I think, the most telling thing about the story is I don't remember any of their names. Other than Jake. Was it Kitty?
Yeah, Kitty.
Kitty.
Boo. And
Boo?
wow.
Who was Boo?
Are we talking about Monsters, Inc.? Solely?
What? Monsters, Inc.
Boo? She calls him Kitty.
Oh.
Got him. Mike Wazowski.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
mic drop.
I think her name is Nikiri, unless that's the name of a knife that I'm thinking
Who's
of.
Nakiri?
Is that not the wife? The
Natiri.
Natiri.
Is it
Nakiri's
Natiri?
definitely a like a Mongolian chef knife type.
Yeah.
Oops.
I don't know anybody else's name.
Yeah. I don't
even
know how
know
important that
Sigourney
is
Weaver's
actually.
name. It's not, but at the same
it is.
time, for the story and like character development,
You don't get as
how do
connected.
you relate to somebody if you
Yeah.
don't know who they are?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So fight scenes were super. The last hour and a
So
half was so good. You
so
know,
fun.
The
The one
freaking
guy comes down and shish kebabs some guy with a spear.
that was great.
that was delicious.
and
that
the
was so
and the
good.
freaking whale thing coming on the
Yeah.
ship and just destroying
Yeah.
it was legit.
That was really cool.
I'm glad he didn't die. I thought he might have died.
Which guy? Oh, the
The
whale guy.
whale, yeah.
No, dude, he's gonna live forever.
Yeah.
He's dope.
Two things.
Finding Nemo of he got one fin, you know.
Oh, is that what it was?
No.
Because he had the broken fin?
So what it was just
okay.
the shark, the initial shark that came to try to kill Homeboy. And then the
Oh,
whale
yeah,
came and
yeah,
saved
yeah,
him, right?
yeah.
That shark, there were just some spots where like the CGI just didn't look good to me.
Oh,
Like it
really?
looked kind of like a little too cartoony.
Huh.
But I really honed in on that because I was really focusing on it through the movie. So that's me being
Like
really
the reefs and
nitpicky.
stuff being destroyed didn't look good?
No, it was
or-
the shark itself. Like
Huh.
there were several moments where I don't know if it was the animation or if it was like the rendering or what it was,
Yeah.
but it just like it
Looked
looked
off.
a little extra cartoony and less real.
Okay.
So that was just some stuff. Most of it was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, everything having to do with water was phenomenal.
It was
when they show
insane.
up to the new place and it's just that blue water and you see all the stuff underneath, beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
When it's raining and you got rain on the skin.
Gosh, that was so
How
good
on-
looking.
If
The
you're,
rain was nuts.
it was crazy.
It was crazy.
If you're a VFX artist who worked on this movie,
You deserve a raise.
Yeah, you should be getting paid
I am
$6 billion a day.
I'm bowing to you right now.
Yeah,
No, the effects
Yeah.
insane.
it was crazy. Anything water related,
And the
when they were in
sound
the water,
effects were good.
the sound effects were
Sound
good.
effects were good.
This-
we
this-
didn't talk about that in the score. The sound effects were
Yeah,
on point.
sound effects were great.
Yeah.
The
I can't believe I just said on point.
on
I
point.
was on point.
The
My wife's gonna
like
laugh
the
at me for
animal
that.
noises,
Uh-huh.
just like the whales and stuff and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, it was really good.
It was good.
Really
and then
good.
that shark thing, like the chomping, like that was like cool.
and as
sounding.
always, like the animal design is dope.
oh yeah,
I
when
love
it
the
did the
whales that
eclipse-
have like the 6 jaws or whatever
Uh-huh.
where it opens like that. It's awesome.
It was
dude.
cool. And when they did the eclipse and all the like colors and stuff came out,
Yeah.
was really cool. Because that's what I really liked about the first Avatar when they're like walking on all the land and stuff, and, it like glows.
That's one thing
color
about
effect
Avatar
is
that
so
nobody else
cool.
does, and
Yeah.
it's so good.
That's so good.
One thing that I wish they would have done a little better personally, there are some things that I think are like symbolic or whatever that maybe I don't pick up on.
Yeah.
But every time the sun went behind, I think it's like a moon or another planet.
Yeah,
they
something.
kept showing it was like the exact same shot, and it was just a little curved line with the sun. I wish they'd show that from some different angles or something.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Because it
Even
was
a
a
little
cool
more
shot,
detail.
but it was a very basic shot.
Yeah.
And the first time it was cool, but then they did it like 4 or
They did
5
like
other times,
yeah,
and it
they
was
did.
the exact same framing and everything. And it's
Yeah.
just like, can I see a different angle? Because like, it's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, the effects were like, man, when I was thinking about it, because I just watched the first Avatar like
Yeah.
several days ago
Yeah.
in preparation. And there's some of the composition where when
So
they
did
have a
I.
real person, you didn't,
No.
you didn't watch it.
No, I didn't.
When you have like a real person in a very CGI scene or next
Yeah.
to like a Navi person or whatever, there's some like very obvious composition errors in the first one. In this one, dude,
Yeah.
there were some times where it was a person, like a human up against a Navi, and you could almost not tell the difference at all between what was real and stuff.
So I'll say one of the scenes that shocked me was when Spider, as horrible as he was, when he gets on the dragon animal with his somewhat dad or whatever, and they fly off. And then when they come and land and he like jumps off of it, you didn't see.
Yeah.
It didn't look off.
Yeah.
It looked like he was riding on there.
It was-
and when he jumped off, it was, I don't know what they did, but it
Yeah.
looked so good.
It was perfect. And then some of just like they did a lot more this time with times of day. In the first Avatar, it was like it was either day or it was night, and they did a lot of things to just try to make it look good. But this one, man, it was all times of the day, and the lighting and everything on those
was
CGI
good.
characters was crazy
was
good.
good.
Some of just like because there's some things I get really into VFX, and I don't want to jump too far into this because it could get boring. But there are some things that like you don't think of when you see them in real life.
Yeah.
So like if you hold up your fingers to the light on the edge of your finger, the light's coming through your skin and it's very pinkish and you can see almost it glow through your skin on the edges or like on your ears or something. That's some things in VFX that if you do them right, it makes it look super extra real. Or if
Right.
your pores on your face stretch as you smile and talk and stuff. So stuff like that, they did it so well.
so
The
well.
way the light like refracts off the skin and just like everything was flawless.
It was
as far as
flawless.
like the character CGI and everything was great. Some of the animal CGI, like I said with the shark, was like
Yeah.
okay. My thing with that is like there's nothing real to base that on in real life.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, you have like sharks and you have whales and
Yeah.
stuff, but these are different.
Yeah.
The Na'vi people like have skin that seems
Yeah.
to be relatively the same
They're pretty
texture as
human
human
looking.
skin, right? So you have a little bit of like a comparison there. So the animals, I give it a little bit of a pass because like you don't have anything great to base it
Yeah.
off of, but it's still great. It
Yeah.
still looks awesome. So
So,
Yeah.
couple things. When the doctor guy, I don't even know his name,
Dr. Man.
Doctor Man, who was in the movie,
Are you talking about Flight of the Conchords guy?
is he Flight of the Conchords? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
no way, that's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
He's the
now.
guy who gets mad at the harpoonist. Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Wait, what
no,
Dr.
no,
guy
no,
are you
no,
talking
no.
about?
That's Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
okay.
100%. Yeah.
No, the guy from the first one.
Oh, the jerk doctor guy?
No,
or the
no,
Indian doctor guy?
No,
Or the,
not the Indian doctor. The one that came when the sister had the seizure. The daughter had the seizure.
Oh, you're
and
talking
he's-
about
He's coming and checking on her.
gosh,
doing
what's
the
his name? I know
brainless-
his name, but I can't say it right now.
Yeah.
You're talking about tall, lanky white boy.
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Yeah. Who is,
Gabe. That's not his real name.
No,
he
but it
seems
sounds like a Gabe. Yeah. Gabe.
People are gonna
Hansen,
listen to this who, like, love
from our
Avatar.
job.
They're gonna be
If
so angry.
If you are listening to this, we love you.
I was even thinking of him. I was thinking of Gabe from The Office.
I know. When he was like, she had a whatever,
Epileptic spell or whatever,
from attaching to AWOL, whatever the crap that thing's name
AWA,
is, AWA.
yeah.
And he was like, it can never happen again, or she could die. And like Jake's like, never again, you know? And then she just like connects herself to the
Well, he was
thing
wrong.
at the end. Like, but Jake, like, there was a point where Jake was like, she can never do that again. Like, it was like
Yeah.
this emotional thing. And then all of a sudden it was just like she's just connecting again, and it was like zero problems.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was
well
weird.
because it wasn't that.
Yeah, I guess
Obviously,
it was. I guess it was because it was a horrible thing that she was seeing.
Yeah,
that-
they better wrap that up in the next movie, or I'm gonna be livid.
I know.
Because like she goes and like sees her mom.
Yeah.
and she's like, "Who's my dad?" And then she's like, "I have a seizure."
Yeah, she's
It's
like,
"Are you kidding me?"
"Oh."
So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's good movie making, or maybe it's bad. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not educated enough to say.
who knows? Since we're getting like 6 of these movies, I'm sure we'll find out at some point.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Okay, what's your favorite part of the movie?
Favorite part of the movie? I don't know. Just the last hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just good.
that's fair.
I don't know if I have like a super favorite part. I would maybe say Natiri. Is that her name?
Yeah, I think
that's what we
so.
figured it
Yeah.
out. Her going crazy after her son dies. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
My favorite part is the compilation of every time somebody got hit with an arrow. Just feels so good.
It was good.
So good.
Arrows
Just
in
dude, all the
non-bulletproof
action was
glass.
good. And the arm. The arm loss.
The arm was
great.
pretty good. Yeah.
I've been dying for a little dismemberment,
A little
in some
dismemberment
movies
in
recently.
something.
So that was good.
Yeah.
It was good for the soul. You know,
Yeah.
you need it every once in a while.
I would say it was cooler to just kind of see more of the like real. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. Just the craziness of like the people dying. You
Yeah.
know, instead of it just kind of like shoehorning away, it was like, no, this is horrible. These people are dying. You
Yeah.
know, like it was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Right.
cool. I love seeing people die. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
Yep, perfect. That's a perfect
I'm
wrap
not a
up.
sociopath, by the
Yep.
way.
No, not at all.
And that's our podcast.
And that's our podcast.
Great
We're a
like
bunch
seeing
of-
people die.
Join us next week as we watch Saving Private Ryan. On a much more real note, do
That was horrible.
you have any last thoughts?
If you are listening to this spoiler portion and deciding whether or not you should see it, still go see it.
Yeah.
Just for the visuals.
Even though we've spent most of the spoiler portion complaining,
yeah.
it's way more.
Well, no, we've talked about how cool the visuals were.
we did. No, we
and,
did.
like,
It's way easier to complain about a movie than to
It
say good
so
things about it.
is.
But that's how life is.
Yeah.
It's easier to complain about
and you can
something.
only talk about the visuals for so long. And
That's
where
true.
that was like the
Yeah.
that's the only reason to go see it. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's a basic story.
Yeah.
The acting's fine. Spider's the worst. I hope he somehow is not in the third movie.
Yeah.
Third movie. Yeah.
Hopefully he unalives between now and the third movie.
Hopefully he not in real life. Just
No,
in the
not
movie.
the actor.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Just
Yeah.
the character.
Oh, last thing. Still a horrible title.
Yeah.
Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
So
they
dumb.
mentioned it a few times, but
They
it's
did.
still bad.
It
Just
was
call it
still
Avatar
bad.
2 and call it
Or even like it could just have been like Avatar 2.
Water Boy.
We're in the water this time.
We're getting into Sharknado territory now.
Avatar 2, the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second part. Just take from the Lego movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
They've never done anything wrong.
They should just do part 2.
Lego movies are great.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so still go see it.
that's Avatar: The Way of Water.
Great movie.
Go see it.
Go see it.
It's great.
We'll be doing this again.
Yeah.
Probably
Join us next week
a Christmas movie.
for a Christmas movie.
Yeah, we're gonna do a Christmas movie, and then the week after we'll do like kind of a recap of.
We're going to do the first annual something awards. We don't have a name for it yet.
Oh.
But we'll come up with a name.
The Dundee Awards. I
No,
just
that's
thought
not-
of that right now.
That's from the
I
office.
know.
We can't do that. We're going to do an end of the year award ceremony from real people and not the freaking Academy Awards because those are garbage. So we're going to do real awards from real people who really like movies.
Real people with facts. This isn't like
Yeah.
dumb people that are just paid to like a movie or something. This is
Yeah.
hard facts.
Hard-
Like, you
Our opinions are
Our opinions are facts.
factually
Yeah.
our opinions.
So
man.
we'll watch a Christmas movie. Between now and then, if you
Yeah.
have a Christmas movie that you want us to watch,
Yeah.
like, subscribe, ring the bell on
That's-
YouTube.
We don't even have a YouTube.
We don't even have a
so
YouTube, I
good
know.
luck. But on a more podcasty note, leave a review.
Yeah, Please.
If you're on Apple Podcasts, if you're
Or
on Apple
Spotify.
Podcasts or Spotify doesn't have reviews, but
Yeah,
leave
they do. They have ratings.
ratings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't leave a review. You
Oh.
can just give it like a number or a star or something.
Yeah.
So go on both platforms, leave a star or a number or a review on Apple Podcasts. It'll help us out a
Only
lot.
good things are allowed.
But only good things.
Yeah.
Well, if you hate us,
No, we need the constructive criticism.
yeah, or just
We'll just ban you if you give us
constructive
anything lower than
positivity.
a 5. So,
We will.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we will find you.
Well, I guess with that threat, that wraps up today's episode of Reaction Time. And join us next week.
Remember, reaction time stands for rowing eastwardly across country, thinking ice cream or Nutella.
This is my enemy. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you all.
Love you all. And a happy new year.